Hey, this is Greg Berger, and you are listening to the GeekCast Radio Network.
Today on episode 98 of the Cinema Geeks,
we take a look back at our May predictions.
And we look ahead to see what's in store for the rest of the summer.
All that and more coming up on episode 98 with the Cinema Geeks.
That's right, it's episode 98 of the Cinema Geeks, and I am one of your Cinema Geeks Optimus Solo. Joining me today, as you heard in the intro, is Hard Candy Mandy.
Word.
Word is the word for today, apparently. Movie Revolt, Dan, how is it going?
Good, to your mother.
Sorry.
Well, if you didn't know, now you know.
Yeah.
And for the site, hello.
Hi.
Sorry, and Dan, it was like, it took me like a delay to put that together with what Amanda said. And so, it's like combining it with what I said, I was just like, a weird reaction. But anyway.
What oh so right.
Trying to make
it was much better than our normal.
getting now. It's like, hey, how you doing? To your mother. Like, what? No, that doesn't work. Yeah.
We're off to a good start here today so far. So today we have one of our previews that we've done for the last couple of months coming towards you guys, and we're going to do it a little bit different. We're going to be switching things up a little bit just because there's a lot of content that we're trying to get out to you guys with all our different spotlights, with the video game spotlight and the director spotlight on Miyazaki, as well as some other things that are in the pipeline. So instead of doing a month-by-month preview to allow ourselves more room to get some of these episodes out, we're going to combine some of these previews together. And that's going to start with today. Instead of looking just at the month of June, we're going to be looking at the rest of the summer, and it'll be kind of more like a seasonal preview. So we'll have like 4 or 5 of these throughout the year. So today we're going to be extending it to not just look at June, but look at June, July, and August. Also, you may have remembered from some of our previous preview episodes that we had a long section dedicated to trailer talk. We're actually going to cut that out of this episode, and we'll be bringing a whole episode later on that deals with trailers and trailer talk and stuff like that to you guys. So we're strictly just going to be looking at all of the movies coming out in June, July, and August, making our predictions and going about it that route. Before we get to that, though, we have to look back at what happened in May, which, if you recall, was Matt's first attempt to join us in predictions. So we'll have to see how he did. First thing we look at usually is the box office numbers and our predictions for that. And if we go back to May, let's start with the picks to click and see how everybody did. Dan, you picked X-Men Apocalypse, trying to be a little bit different than a couple of us on the panel. And X-Men Apocalypse has done pretty darn good. I mean, it's not on the same level as some of the other superhero films possibly, but it has brought in over $120 million. It's currently number 7 for the year for 2016, so I think that qualifies it enough. If it's in the top 10 for the year, I'm pretty sure that clicked for you. So once again, you have a correct prediction with X-Men Apocalypse.
I'm all for it, so there you go.
Amanda, Alice Through the Looking Glass was your prediction for a pick to click. Alice Through the Looking Glass currently has only made $54 million, and it's ranked so far in 2016 as 16.
Yeah, I'm not surprised that didn't work out for me.
That's the confidence we were hoping for.
Yeah, I mean, I wanted it to be good. And
You didn't even like it.
I didn't like it.
If you didn't like it, that movie stood no chance. So Alice Through the Looking Glass will not get you any points for your pick to click. Matt, you and I went with Captain America Civil War, and all the listeners are probably yelling at their headsets or earpieces that we're cowards and we took the easy way out.
I had points to make up, bruh.
You did say that Captain America Civil War would make all of the money, and so far in 2016 it has. It currently sits in the number 1 spot for the entire year. It just recently passed, what was the other film that was in its way? Jungle Book? Deadpool. Zootopia? It passed all of them. So it's at $390+ million. It's probably close to the $400 million mark now that we're doing this record. So number 1 on 2016, I think that's going to be good enough to give us both a point. So that would be your first point. How do you feel, Matt?
I feel like I made an easy bet, I don't know if there's going to be that many movies that give it a run for its money, honestly, this year, other than Rogue One.
Yeah, so we'll have to wait and see how long it can hold on to that number one spot. When it came to our bets to bomb, Dan, you and I had Angry Birds.
I call shenanigans because can someone name me one person they know actually went to see that movie?
I can.
Really? All right.
I don't know anybody.
A guy I work with. Well, okay, I can't.
This isn't the guy that yells at you.
No. Although, believe it or not, he actually did listen to our List of Shame episode, which was very surprising to me. But no, I work with a lot of eclectic people, which means something coming from me. And one guy wears, like, for whatever reason, one guy who's like 35 wears an Angry Birds hat to work, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm going to see it opening weekend."
Well, he must have saw it like 15 times because
he's got kids and a lady friend.
He took the whole family 15 times. Angry Birds currently number 9 on the year, and it's just around the 90 million mark, Dan. So I guess we're just not knowledgeable when it comes to these birds.
I guess not. I should have figured the kids. The kids got us. It was all the kids'
I guess
fault.
you never bet against kids, but man, I thought that one was not going to resonate. So we will not take any points for our bets to bomb. Amanda, you had Money Monster as your bet to bomb. Money Monster currently has made about $38 million. It's 23rd on the year.
Which is my lucky number, P.S.
Okay. Dan, I don't know. What do we qualify this one? Money Monster doesn't seem like it is a Money Monster. Is it enough to call it a bomb?
I think so, considering the talent involved. And yeah, I would assume they were hoping for more than they got. So I would call it a bomb for sure.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. So, Amanda, you're getting a point there to make up for your Alice Through the Looking Glass pick earlier. And Matt, The Darkness.
Kevin Bacon.
Currently has made about $10 million. It is just on the borderline of not being in the top 50 for the year so far. So I'm going to say if you're not in the top 50 for the year, that pretty much qualifies you as a bomb. I don't know exactly what the budget was for it, but $10 million is not a lot of money to make if you got a wide release. So more points for Matt. He's making up ground.
Trying.
Let's get to the wild card picks. Dan, you had X-Men Apocalypse making less than X-Men Days of Future Past in its opening weekend. X-Men Days of Future Past opening weekend was $90 million. X-Men Apocalypse opening weekend was $65. So that is a correct prediction. Amanda, you had Neighbors 2 outperforming Nice Guys. How do you feel about that?
Not good.
Well, you should feel good, though. Neighbors 2, $50 million. Nice Guys, $30 million.
Ooh, it's a close one.
So, never bet against, Zac Efron? Is that a thing?
Sure.
Matt, Captain America having a better opening weekend than Batman vs. Superman. How are you feeling about that one?
I feel terrible that Batman vs. Superman exists. Does that count?
That's not exactly the question asked, but we'll go with it. Surprisingly, this is really close, Matt. What if I told you that the difference between these two opening weekends is only about $13 million?
Well, I don't want to be like boastful or bragful, but I knew that this one wasn't nearly as a given because they said Batman vs. Superman was record-breaking for the month and for the season. But it was also record-breaking, both having the biggest opening weekend for the month/season and having one of the highest drop-offs from Friday to Sunday ever.
So it made all its money in that first weekend. So it was a little bit harder of a prediction. Captain America ended up with 179 over the opening weekend. Batman vs. Superman ended up with 166. So you do get the point for that. Captain America, $13 million more than Batman vs. Superman over that opening weekend. So that means all... Oh, wait. I had one, too. I guess I got to go over mine. My prediction was Jungle Book would not fall out of the top 1 or 2 spots until the May 20th weekend. And long story short, that is also a correct prediction. It stayed in the number 1 or 2 spot until Angry Birds and something else took it out in that May 20th weekend. So all 4 of us get our wild card picks correct. So that means, Dan, you added 2 points to your total, which would bring you up to 7. Amanda, you also added 2 points to your total, which would bring you up to 7. I added 2 points as well. So I'll be at 6, 1 point behind you guys. And Matt, you have all 3 this time, so you're not that far off from us with 3 points so far.
I'm a dark horse.
Dark horse. All right, so I've given a lot of it away, so we don't necessarily need to go over the entire month because there wasn't that many moneymakers involved. But obviously Captain America sits as the best film for the month, then X-Men Apocalypse, then Angry Birds, then Alice Through the Looking Glass, then Neighbors, Money Monster, Nice Guys, and then The Darkness out of the movies that were in question. So, all right. That means it's time to get into our... We're going to go ahead and jump ahead to what our predictions for Rotten Tomatoes were so we can get all of May out of the way before we turn our attention to the June, July, August, just to try to keep our mindset going here. So when we went back to May for our certified fresh predictions, Dan, you and I, again, same pick with The Nice Guys. Are you aware of what Rotten Tomatoes has said so far about The Nice Guys?
I think they're pretty favorable.
Yeah.
They're liking it.
Favorable up to the point of a 91%. So that would be a correct prediction for Dan and myself. Not just 75, all the way up to 91. Matt, you had Captain America once again as your certified fresh pick. It currently is only 1 point behind The Nice Guys, sitting at a 90% fresh. So all of us good so far. Amanda, you had High Rise, Tom Hiddleston. How you feeling?
Oh, I want it to do shitty, but I don't think it did.
What was this one? This is the one where assholes were going to go see it? Is that what you said?
All the assholes were going to go see it.
Well, apparently not enough of them liked it because it's only at a 62%. So you're about 13% away from getting a point there. So no points for Certified Fresh for you, but the rest of us will take one.
Assholes never come through for me anyway. So.
It's because they're assholes. I mean.
Exactly.
All right, here's something, though. Let's get to our certified rotten picks. What if I told you guys that there was only 2 possible films you could pick for the month that would have been certified rotten? How are we all feeling about our predictions?
Well, I can see the script, so not too
There's only 2 picks that were certified rotten, and they were both predicted by 2 of the members of the Cinema Geeks here. So, Dan, you had The Darkness as your certified rotten pick. The Darkness currently has a 5%.
There you go. It's rocking it right there.
So that is an excellent... That's actually 2 months in a row where not only have you picked the rotten pick, but you've picked the worst reviewed film of the month.
The rottenness.
The most rotten.
I am the Rain Man of Rotten Tomatoes.
Amanda, you had The Do-Over. Like, you pulled that one, like, out of your ass somehow at the last second. Like, most of us didn't even remember that it was coming out that month. And that is the only other film that is certified rotten at 7%.
You're welcome.
So, Adam Sandler coming through for you. Matt, I had Angry Birds, you had Alice Through the Looking Glass. Neither of us will get points for that, although they are the 3rd and 4th worst out of the major films.
Well, we did a thing, all 4 of us.
So Angry Birds is actually up at 43%, Alice Through the Looking Glass at 29%, really close. You only missed it by a few percent there. And then, of course, The Do-Over at 7% and The Darkness at 5%. So 2 points for Dan, or a point each for Dan and Amanda on that one, no points for me and Matt. That means, Matt, you only have 1 point so far for Rotten Tomatoes. Amanda, you actually have 2 points, only 1 point ahead of Matt. I will be at 4, and Dan, you are at 6. So killing it, Rotten Tomatoes Rain Man. Going over the actual other films, anybody have it? There was a lot of films that you could have actually picked for certified fresh. Even though there was only The Do-Over and Darkness for rotten, there was about 6 films that were certified fresh. Obviously, we talked about 2 of them, Captain America Civil War and The Nice Guys. Anybody else have any guesses as to what else might have been fresh? Dan, anything?
Was Neighbors 2 fresh?
It was not. It was a 62%. Most of these are going to be hard. They were a little bit more limited releases. The other fresh films were officially, I guess if you wanted to call it May release, The Lobster is at a 90% now that it's been wide release. Love and Friendship, 99%.
There you go.
1 review.
And then A Bigger Splash at 89% and Maggie's Plan at 83%. So that's how that all fell out. If anybody was wondering about the other films we didn't mention, as far as the bigger ones, X-Men Apocalypse, 47%. Is it that bad, Dan? Is it 47% bad?
Definitely not. I would say more like 60-ish or so. But it's hard to. I mean, it's hard to say because it's with the percentages the way Rotten Tomatoes works. But I'm surprised it had that many negative reviews. But it also could just be fatigue. It's like the fourth comic book movie.
They're like, we already gave Deadpool and Captain America good reviews.
Yeah, and it's also
every
like
other
the
one we gotta give bad reviews.
X-Men movie, so it's like, it's not getting, people aren't going to give it any favors, I guess. I
don't think so either. All right, so that's where we went with May. Just in general, Amanda, out of all those films, I mean, you saw a couple of those, obviously, Captain America, X-Men, Alice Through the Looking Glass, The Nice Guys. How was your month of May? Was it good, bad? Is your best films of the year getting stronger because of May, or was there a bunch of duds?
I want to say some duds. The Reno's there. Nice Guys was a little disappointed with. Alice, I was a lot of disappointed with. Civil War was good to me. X-Men, I think, was pretty good to me, too.
What about you, Dan? What did you think about the month of May?
Well, I caught up with a lot of movies that weren't in May, so that was good. But I had two of my favorite films came out this month so far with The Lobster and Civil War, so I am happy with that. So.
Nice. Matt, how did the comic book films treat you here? Civil War and X-Men Apocalypse.
And Deadpool, as it were.
You saw Deadpool for the first time?
Yes. I had not seen Deadpool, so I had a comic booky month. And none of them were Batman vs Superman, so it was just all good.
The hate never ends. All right. Well, let's turn our attention then to the rest of the summer, quote unquote, June, July, and August. A lot of films coming out here, obviously, since we're covering 3 months, so I won't list them all, but you'll probably hear quite a few of them as we make our way through the predictions. And how this is going to work, since we're looking at 3 months, we're going to do this slightly different. We are going to have 3 picks to click and 3 bets to bomb. But the caveat here is, since we're looking at all of them at one time, you don't necessarily have to pick one from each month. So if you want all 3 of your picks to click to be from August, that's fine. If you want one from June, one from July, one from August, that is fine as well. When we go to the wild cards, there'll only be 2 of those, so you only have to come up with 2 wild cards. And then when we get to the certified fresh and certified rotten, again, 3 picks each, but they can be from any combination of the months. So, all right, Matt, you still got some catching up to do, so why don't you start us off? Where do you want to start with the box office? A pick to click, bet to bomb, or wild card?
I think this somehow with 3 months, some of these are even harder to guess. But I'm gonna do the pick to click.
All right, so film that's gonna succeed at the box office. Which is your first of those picks?
I'm gonna go with probably almost as easy of a pick as last time. I'm gonna go with Disney because you can't go wrong with Disney, and I'm gonna say Finding Dory is gonna make bank.
All right, so Finding Dory for Matt. Anybody else have Finding Dory on their picks to click? Amanda?
Yes, sir.
You also have Finding Dory, mm-hmm. Dan?
Yeah. It's my top 3 for the year so far. I think when I did my prediction, so I'm gonna say it's gonna make all the monies, as we said with Civil War.
Captain America. And I'll make it boring, and we'll all use Finding Dory as one of our 3 picks. So nobody's gaining any points on anybody there. We're all gonna either lose or gain. So
Ridley Scott, trendsetter.
Trendsetter. Matt, how about your second pick to click? What else is going to make money in the summer?
Ooh. I'm going to go with probably a less easy pick. I'm going to go and say Ghostbusters is going to make money. Because I feel like everyone who's going to hate on it is also going to hate watch it.
They're all going to go see it still, huh? I was afraid of Ghostbusters in general, so it does not appear anywhere on any of my predictions because I don't have any clue what's going to happen with it.
A good idea.
Yeah, just stay away from it as much as possible. Yeah.
I'm just like, I don't want to go anywhere near that because I have no idea what direction it's going to go. Amanda, what is one of your second of your 3 picks to click?
I'm going with Warcraft.
Warcraft? You think it's going to... the international box office is going to translate and make some money here in America?
I hope so.
Killing it in
Because
China.
I need some points.
I believe if you take its international or its total money so far, it has already made up its budget, which is a fairly decent chunk of money. I think its budget was around 150 or 160, and I'm pretty sure it's already past that if you take all of the money that it's made around the world. But I don't know how well it's going to do in the U.S.
I'm excited for it. I want to see it this weekend.
We have like 700 movies we need to see this weekend. Dan, your second pick to click.
This is tough. You would think it'd be easy, but there's a few movies where it's like it could make a lot of money or it could bomb. But I think one I'm feeling good about is Jason Bourne. So that's going to be my next pick to click is Jason Bourne.
I was considering that one too. I did not end up going with it, but I had it as one of my options. But I think you're right. I think there's going to be hopefully a lot more buzz around that one with Matt Damon coming back, so I can see it making some money. For my second one, I'm actually going to try to hone in on what I think is going to be maybe not to the level that Jurassic World was last year, but I'm hoping it can at least tap into a little bit of that, and I'm going to go with Independence Day Resurgence. Yeah, I know Will Smith's not involved, but I haven't really heard that much anger and hate towards it, except for, I think, Matt. But I just think people we're at that right phase now where it's transitioning into that like 90s nostalgia era, and if people went and saw Jurassic World, I think they might go see Independence Day, and it doesn't have a lot of competition for the opening weekend or the weekend following, so I think it has the option or the ability to have a little bit of a steady first to second week without much of a drop off. So that's going to be my second pick. Matt, one more pick to click. What do you got?
I'm gonna pick a movie that I don't have a lot of faith in, but I'm sure is going to make money because it just looks like it's going to make money. And apparently I'm going to go June, July, August for this one. I'm going to go with Suicide Squad.
All right. Suicide Squad's going to make some money, says Matt. Amanda, you've been praising and anticipating Suicide Squad for a long time. Are you in agreement? Is that your third pick as well?
It is, yes.
All right. Suicide Squad for Amanda as well. Amanda and Matt in lockstep together right now. Dan, what's your last pick to click?
So July 4th is usually a pretty popular weekend, and this weekend it has the BFG Legend of Tarzan, but actually I'm going to go with a different film coming out that weekend, and I think it's a franchise that's not going to compete with that of the Marvel films, but considering its budget, it'll do well for itself. So I'm going to say The Purge Election Year as a little wild card in the sense of it's going to make its money back. I think it do well. I think this franchise is kind of getting better as it goes on, and I don't have any faith in Tarzan or the BFG, so maybe it's actually The Purge that weekend.
I think people are just going to be excited this year with the combination of those two terms, The Purge and Election Year. I just think a lot of people are going to want to feel that. But anyways, all right. Go ahead, Matt.
I was going to say, I want a do-over, because I also had that listed, and I forgot that if the Election Year makes half as much as the worst Purge has ever made, it'll probably still have more than double its budget. Because they are cheap movies.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see.
They cost about the same amount as this podcast. So.
Ooh.
I meant that as a compliment, but I guess not.
I was going to say, I don't think we've ever spent $9 million on the podcast, so...
Yeah.
And for the last one for me, I was heavily considering Suicide Squad as well, for a lot of reasons, but I have it kind of worked into my wild card as a pick in a way, so I'm going to go somewhere a little bit different, and I'm going to say The Secret Life of Pets, because it's kids, and we've learned that if they'll see Angry Birds, they're going to go see a movie about pets, right? Like, that seems like it should be a thing, and parents are going to go see movies about pets. I don't know. Secret Life of Pets. So...
You sound convinced about that. Yeah.
It's animated. I should every time we do this, I'm going to try to find an animated film, and I got 2 of them on my list.
You're like, so Pets.
Secret Life of Pets and Finding Dory.
Yeah.
Animated films make money.
They do.
All right, let's get into our bomb picks. Let's flip the script a little bit. Amanda, what is your first pick for something that's going to bomb?
I'm going to take TMNT Out of the Shadows.
taken one of the ones that's technically already been released.
Has it?
It's
Yes,
still in
but
theaters, though, so...
But it's still in theaters, so it's not a given what's going to happen with it. So, no faith in the TMNT, huh?
I'm scared, too. I'm scared to like it.
It's got great reviews so far.
No.
I'm kidding.
I almost started to believe it.
All right. If J.D. Duran from the In Session Film podcast only gives a Michael Bay associated film a 1.5 star or whatever, then that's bad news for TMNT. So not a bad pick there for TMNT. I will go next. My first pick is... Why do I have 4 picks down here? My first pick is going to be The Infiltrator with Bryan Cranston. Not sure how many people know about that film, but for some reason that film has a huge budget, and I don't understand why, and I don't think it's going to make it back. So it's not necessarily that it's not going to make any money, but I don't think it's going to make its budget. So I think that'll qualify me as a bomb if it does, in fact, not make its budget. So Infiltrator for me. Dan, what do you got for your first bomb?
For my first bomb, I'm going to go back to the 4th of July weekend, and I think The Legend of Tarzan is going to bomb and bomb hard. I just don't think it looks all that great, and I don't know if there's many people that are really like, I really want to go see a Tarzan movie, so even though it has Eric from True Blood, I don't see it doing well, so.
Amanda's on board now all of a sudden.
No, I've been on board. I was telling, I went to go see The Conjuring with my friend, and they showed the Tarzan preview for it, and or during it. I was like, that's the dude from True Blood, and I had to gush a little bit.
Whatever happened to them pairing previews with, like, the type of film you're seeing?
It was the screening. There was literally 2 previews when the movie started.
That's right. Okay, Matt. Bet to bomb.
Oh, man. This one seems a little bit harder, because it's like anything that looks bad's got a low budget. The only thing that I'm pretty sure is going to bomb, as much as I don't want it to, is Star Trek Beyond. Because those have been going, I believe, up in budget and definitely down in earnings, and the last one barely eked a profit, so...
That was another one that I was somewhat afraid to go near, because I'm not sure how people are going to react to
There's
it.
a lot of hate out there.
Well, there's always been a lot of hate in the Trek world, I guess. Yeah, I can see what you're saying. I mean, it's definitely on a downward trend as far as the first 2, I guess, if that's enough to make a trend. But I don't know. I can see it going both directions. Dan, what do you think about Star Trek Beyond?
I think the second trailer, turned a lot of people around, because I know a lot of people weren't huge fans of the first one, but I don't know if it's just going to get kind of buried in a rather busy summer. I don't know. Maybe it does seem like with Independence Day and all the comic book movies, and this movie doesn't necessarily have the momentum I would expect, maybe because Into Darkness was a disappointment, and we've seen franchises when when you have a film coming after what was a disappointment, they tend to do pretty poorly. So we'll see. I'm hopeful. I think it's going to do okay. I don't think it's going to do amazing, but I think having Star Trek as there, because even some of the bad new generation Star Trek movies did decently well. I think I could be wrong, but we'll see. It's tricky. It's a tricky one.
Yeah, Amanda. Another bet to bomb.
Central Intelligence.
Really?
Kind of a no-brainer. I don't know.
Kind of a no-brainer? Like the movie doesn't take brains to understand, or it's a no-brainer that it's going to bomb?
Probably both. I don't know. Kevin Hart, pulled in some money in The Rock too, but I just don't have a good feeling about it. I'll watch it. Yeah, I'm probably going to see that. But
you can't. You're going to go against your pick.
It's going to be something I probably wait to rent, though.
I don't know. I don't see that one bombing.
Shut your mouth. I want it to bomb.
You want it to bomb?
Hey.
All right. I can't talk anymore on that one. So, Dan, what's your second bomb?
My second bomb, I'm going to go with, the remake people should be really complaining about, and that's Ben-Hur. It looks, again, looking awful. I don't know many people who are really clamoring for a Ben-Hur remake. It's coming out in August, so I don't think it's going to do well. I tried to do research on what its budget is, and I can't really find that out, but I do think it probably costs a pretty penny. So I'm going to bet that it will bomb and bomb hard.
All right, another hard bomber. Matt.
I'm just going to echo that.
Damn it.
because I mean, really, when you first mentioned it, Kevin, I was like, that's a terrible idea, and that was like a year and a half ago, and then they still made the movie.
Should have listened to us. I don't know what they were thinking.
I just don't get it.
I'm trying to like redo my list because everybody's already said all mine. But no, I'll go with what I have on the paper. To be fair, my next one is going to be one that Dan already mentioned, and I have to say Legend of Tarzan. And the reason I have to do that, not just because it's like a lot of these films that just look like they're going to be bad, but the budget on that is ridiculous. It's got like a $200 million budget.
Ooh.
It's like between $180 and $200 million budget. There's no way that film makes that much. Like, even if it's somewhat successful, it's still going to be in like I think it would be successful if it was in the 150 range, and that's not even going to make its budget back. Unless I got false research that I was looking at before this, I just can't see it doing that well, regardless of anything.
Maybe if they throw Iron Man or Captain America in the trailer.
Spider-Man cameo rumor? No?
Something.
So I am in complete agreement, Dan, with Legend of Tarzan as my second pick. So, Amanda, your last bomb.
Oh, Kevin Spacey. You disappoint me. 9 Lives.
Oh, God.
If that movie makes $1, I cry for humanity.
I debate even, like, I don't even know if it's real. I still debate if it's real. Like, I still, like, is that really a movie coming out?
We saw previews in the theater for this shit. They're actually putting previews out there, and they're making
I think someone
rounds.
laughed. I think someone in the theater laughed during that preview.
I think it's supposed to be a funny movie, Kevin.
I'm sorry. I have no more comments on 9 Lives. I've said it a million times. Yeah. Dan, what else do you got?
I'm gonna take a little bit of a risk because I think this is a movie I think is gonna be a good movie, but I don't know if it's gonna be successful financially. So I'm gonna go with Free State of Jones, just because it's coming out in the summertime and historical drama. I don't know if it's gonna work. It's going against Independence Day too, so it might be hard for it to get into theaters. So I think it might be a good movie, but I just think it's maybe the counter programming sometimes works, sometimes it doesn't, and I think maybe I'm gonna bet on it doesn't work this time. So I'm gonna bet that it bombs.
That makes sense. I understand the strategy you're going with there. I think that's, again, it could be something that's good, could be well received, well reviewed, but it might not make that much money. So I can see that. Matt, last bomb.
Okay, so I feel underinformed because I don't even know. Is 9 Lives? Is he a cat?
Yeah,
he gets put into the body. He gets
Can other people understand him, or is he like?
No.
But is it like Garfield where he's constantly commenting on the world around him?
Yes.
That's great.
And who puts him into the cat? Was it Christopher Walken?
I'm pretty sure.
Oh my gosh. I'm gonna go with the space between us because, dude, what 9 Lives? The space between us, it's like a teen love movie, right? But it's like it's got space.
That's why Kristen Stewart's in it.
It's got like space in it, and it's like that's a high budget for a teen romance. Like, why are they floating through space? They got all these different settings. They've got a Mars. They've got space stations.
I don't even know what the budget is, but that makes sense if the budget is high because of all the sets and what they had to do there.
I got a feeling. I didn't know what to pick. I didn't know the 9 Lives was a thing.
Yeah, that's interesting. I like that. I didn't think of either Free State of Jones or The Space Between Us, but both of your reasonings make sense, so I like that. And I'm just going to be boring, I think, because I mean, I want to go off script and say Pete's Dragon, but what I have written down is Ben-Hur, just like what you guys had. So nobody's going to want to see that, I don't think. And even if they do see it opening weekend, it's going to get such bad reviews and word of mouth that nobody's going to go see it the second weekend for sure. And some of these movies, I mean, it's a crowded 3 months. There's a lot of big budget films coming out, and there's just not enough money to go around to some of these films that just don't have that that X factor that's really going to grab people in. So, all right, a lot of bomb picks. We'll have to see how we do there. That means it's time for some wild cards. You can go any which way you'd like. We're doing 2 of them. Hopefully that was enough for you guys. I don't know if you wanted more spots or not, but I thought 2 was a good number. So, Dan, why don't you start us off on this one? What's your first wild card?
So, I don't know if you guys know, but there's an Ice Age movie coming out this summer as well, because we need another one.
I don't even know what number they're on. I have to keep track after 2.
Ice Age Collision Course. I'm going to bet that Ice Age Collision Course is going to be the lowest performing Ice Age movie to date. So, it's going to make fewer money. That's how you speak English. It's going to make less money than any of the other actual Ice Age movies. So,
all right, I could see that happening 100%. So, not a lot of money for Ice Age Collision Course. Matt, how about a wild card from you?
Batman vs Superman sucks.
That's not coming out in July. So June, July, or August.
But I think Suicide Squad's gonna do not as well as Batman v Superman in its total run.
In its total run?
Yeah. Like, I think it looks like a better movie. I bet I'm going to enjoy it more, but I bet it also doesn't have Superman fighting Batman in it.
All right, so Batman vs. Superman making more over the course of the year than Suicide Squad. And luckily we have 3 months to judge that on, so it'll have some time to live there. Amanda, wild card for you.
I'm going to do a versus matchup here.
Head-to-head.
War Dogs versus Mike and Dave Need Wedding Dates. And I think that, I don't really like betting against Jonah Hill. But I think that Mike and Dave Need Wedding Dates might do a little better.
That is a very confident prediction. It might do a little better.
Yeah, I'm not too keen on the wild card picks this go around here.
All right, we got it down though.
Why don't you shut your mouth and take my prediction? That's all I'm asking from you right now.
Got it. All right, I guess this one might go right in contrast with what you were saying, because mine is also going to be about Suicide Squad, and my wild card pick is going to be that Suicide Squad has more weeks in the number 1 spot than any other film during this 3-month stretch. So,
whoa,
out of all the different weeks that Suicide Squad is going to have the most weeks at number 1. Honestly, I think that almost every week for this entire 3-month period that we're going to have a new number 1. I think Independence Day has a shot to do it twice, but Suicide Squad coming out August 5th, and then after that you have stuff like Pete's Dragon, Sausage Party, Ben-Hur, War Dogs, Space Between Us, and Max Steel for the rest of August. I don't see how Suicide Squad is not number 1 every single weekend in August. So,
yeah.
But it doesn't need to be all of them, just more than any other film for the rest of those 3 months that we're covering here. So that's my first wild card. Dan, what's your next one?
I'm going to go with this one. I'm debating about something with animated films, but I already have an animated film one, so I'm going to go differently. I'm going to say Pete's Dragon does better than the BFG.
Pete's Dragon better than BFG?
And take a risk.
In a battle of the children's stories.
I think it's just going. I think the Pete's Dragon looks a little bit better, and I think the BFG is going to suffer from the fact that it's going in a more crowded weekend. So we'll see. I mean, going against Spielberg is dangerous, but I think I'll take a risk.
I think Pete's Dragon has a better child actor than Jungle Book did, at just the first glance of the preview. But we'll have to wait and see if I don't know if I'm actually going to see it, so I guess I can't say I'm going to be able to judge that later. Amanda, another wild card for you.
Oh, man.
You said you were very confident about your wild card picks. We're all excited to hear what your second one is.
I did not say that whatsoever. I have a couple weird ones. I wanted Star Trek Beyond to do well, so I kind of wanted that to be my wild card pick here, that it's actually going to do well. But I'm scared of it, so I'm going to say that Independence Day blows Tarzan out of the water.
I would see that movie, though, to see Independence Day blow Tarzan out of the water.
All right. Matt, we haven't done your second wild card, right?
No.
What do you got?
Ghostbusters.
Yes.
Will come out. I'm going to say that the new Ghostbusters does not do as well as the first Ghostbusters.
Well, do we count the money that the original Ghostbusters is currently making on all of its re-releases into the theater?
It's not making that much, actually. Well, according to Box Office Mojo, the 30th anniversary re-release made $3 million. So I'm saying we include all of the money it's ever made, but we don't adjust for inflation.
Getting pretty technical here.
Or you include just the original run and you adjust for inflation, and then I just get free money. Because
so which one's doing better, the new one or the old one?
The old one is going to do better than the new one.
Okay. So old Ghostbusters beats new Ghostbusters.
It's kind of backwards. Didn't I say the other one was going to do well? Oh, man.
You'll have to listen back to this episode and see if you contradict yourself. But I almost went with the Independence Day Ghostbusters theme on mine, but I am going to go the animated route since I had a couple of them showing up in different areas. I'm going to try to predict the order of all. I think there's only 5. If I missed one, I guess my apologies. But 5 animated movies, I'm going to put them in the order from which one makes the most to which one makes the least. We're going to go with Finding Dory making the most money. We're going to go with Secret Life of Pets in the second place spot. That's where it gets the third and fourth is where it gets tricky. Even though Ice Age is going to make probably, I could see what Dan's saying, it's going to make less than most of the other Ice Age films. I think it's going to be enough to come in third, just because the name recognition and kids and whatnot. And then Kubo and the Two Strings will come in fourth. Although, like I said, if I messed up, that's where it's going to be. And then Little Prince, I think that it doesn't even have much of a release, if any. So I'll put that in the fifth spot. So Finding Dory, Secret Life of Pets, Ice Age, Kubo, and then The Little Prince. So those are our wild card picks. Let's transition. Well, first off, Dan, were you keeping track of everybody's picks and the box office predictions? Who do you think is sitting pretty?
I have no idea.
That was a lot of picks to try to remember.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Kevin, I think you had some probably the most logical ones. I feel like so. We'll
don't give
see.
me that much credit.
But I don't know. I really don't know.
All right. Well, let's get into our predictions then for Rotten Tomatoes, the other half of this look ahead. So we had to pick 3 certified fresh films, 3 rotten films. Dan, should we start with fresh or rotten?
Oh, let's get the bad out of the way.
All right, rotten picks first. Amanda, what's a Rotten Tomato?
Oh, Absolutely Fabulous, the movie.
I still don't even know what that is.
What?
What is that again?
I think it's a TV show.
What?
Now they're making it a movie.
Matt,
Oh, I would have expected.
you know what it is?
Yeah, I would have expected Amanda to at least know about it. It was a BBC TV show about. It's essentially like Sex and the City, only like snarkier and less sexy. Just like it's like 2 girls that like are absolutely fabulous and they shop and shit. I don't know, man. It was the 90s TV show. When I saw this on the list, I was like, that can't be possible. That show's old because it started in 92.
I did play, like, Mystery Date and shit, but I wasn't all about, like, like, shopping and stuff. So even Clueless was kind of pushing it for me. I have no idea what this show's about.
Oh, it's like Clueless, but less stupid, I think.
All right, so Absolutely Fabulous, the movie, is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Certified rotten in our definition, for Amanda. Dan, what's a rotten film for you?
I'm going to go with this. Is there a Rotten Tomato score that's less than 0? Because if there is, I'm pretty sure Kevin Smith's most recent film, Yo-Go Hosers, is going to make it. Just because they tend not to like him to begin with, and it does not look all that great, and it stars Johnny Depp's kid and his daughter. So this is just, like, critics are just going to tear it apart, I'm sure. So I'm going to go with Yo-Go Hosers or whatever.
Yoga Hosers.
There you go.
Either way, that film. Yeah, I can see that. They don't necessarily like him, and I can see that just being a target before it even is watched. But then on top of it, it looks bad as well. So, Matt, what do you got for a rotten pick?
Oh, I totally expected him to take the one rotten pick that I was certain of, which is Ben-Hur.
No love for Ben-Hur on the panel today. Yeah, I can see classics being remade doesn't sit well with a lot of people, especially critics, so I can see that getting trashed as well. For my first one, I will go with Bad Moms, because just the cast. I don't know if the cast has ever been a part of a film that's got a good review. So, might be funny and maybe some people will like it, but the critics are not going to like that film. I would be very shocked if they do. So, Bad Moms is my first pick.
I also have Bad Moms.
Copycat.
That's not.
All right. Well, let's skip past Amanda. No, I'm just kidding.
Fine, skip past me.
All right.
Take
Bad
ownership,
Moms
please.
is agreement. We're in agreement. We should be happy. Bad Moms for both of us. Dan, what else do you have that's rotten?
Man, well, we talked about it already, but I feel like it's got to be, right? You're going to go with 9 Lives as rotten? It just seems...
Yeah, I have that on my list, too. So, it's there's no way that's not rotten. I'd be surprised if that gets like a 2%. If one person writes a good review on that film, they should be banned from writing reviews on films.
Watch it be like amazing and be like, wow, that was completely wrong. But
yeah,
because we haven't seen that same kind of story 800 times. Like Tim Allen did it, pretty sure.
This is Kevin Spacey though.
Same thing.
How many Grumpy Cat movies have there been?
I'm surprised they didn't. I'm sure there'll be a cameo from the Grumpy Cat.
Right, Matt. What else do you have that's rotten?
Oh, I've typed in mommies. Man, I don't know. 9 Lives is good. I didn't even know it was happening. Which is, a great sign. I'm like, there's no room, right? There's almost no rotten movies every month.
Well, some months there's more. Some months there's been 3 or 4. This last month was the lowest one, and I only had 2. But since we're covering 3 months, there's got to be at least 6 to 10 films to choose from.
Yeah, I'm bad at this. I had Absolutely Fabulous down as a rotten, so I'm gonna go with that still.
Okay. So a little bit of crossover so far. I only have one pick that hasn't been said because I have Bad Moms and 9 Lives, which was the same as Dan. So I'll just say my third one right now, and that is Mechanic Resurrection. I didn't see that. That's a sequel, right? There was a mechanic film.
It's a sequel of a remake. So yeah.
And I don't remember anything good ever being said about what came before it. So
the Jason Statham movie, I think.
Yeah, I don't think. Again, that's a person that's never had a good reviewed film. I don't think so. Mechanic Resurrection will be my third pick. Amanda, what do you have left that you haven't said?
Something we've already mentioned, and that's Ice Age Collision Course.
Yeah. They don't like sequels that much either, so you got Ice Age, Absolutely Fabulous, and what was the other one?
Bad Moms.
Bad Moms. Okay, Dan, you got one left?
Man, it is getting kind of tough to try to pick one that's because it is hard because I think there's movies I don't think will be great, but so bad that they will be what is it under 20% that makes sense?
25. Yeah, under 25.
So let's go with. I'll take a shot in the dark and maybe the space between us, and sometimes those young adult movies can go either way, and I'll just take a guess that maybe it won't do well. So
there we go. It might be a good day or a good weekend for people to trash films. Ben-Hur and The Space Between Us opening the same weekend. Matt, did you use all yours, or I'm so confused as to how many we all have left?
I think I've only said 2, but that doesn't mean I haven't used all mine. Is it too late to pick Warcraft? Because I haven't talked about how bad that movie looks a lot.
You can go for it.
You sure? Because I'm sure
I haven't looked to see what its percentage is, so I don't know.
I don't know either, but I'm sure.
So if we don't know, you're good to go.
All right.
Warcraft. All right. That means there's only one set of predictions left, and that is the good. Let's end with a positive note. What's going to be fresh above 75%? Amanda, fresh film number 1.
I'm going to go with The Founder.
Yes, that is an excellent pick, and I will choose that one as well. So, The Founder for Amanda, The Founder for myself. Anybody else want to put The Founder on their list?
All right. I think I have all 3 of mine. Do I not?
All right. So, Dan, what's your first fresh pick then?
First fresh pick. Okay, this I think is a little easier. We'll see though. We'll see. I'm gonna go with for fresh. I'm gonna hope that Jason Bourne continues his streak of being with good movies. So I'll go with Jason Bourne as a fresh pick.
I was considering that one again, but I just didn't quite pull the trigger on it. So I like that pick. Matt, your first fresh pick.
I'm gonna go with Florence Foster Jenkins because that's a heartwarming looking movie.
I like the reasoning there. Florence Foster Jenkins. Amanda, are you going to pick another one of mine? What's your next one?
Maybe The Free State of
God
Jones.
bless it. Yes. All right. Free State of Jones on both of our picks.
Put me down on that one, too.
The triple feature Free State of Jones showing up on our fresh picks. Dan, that means you're the only one that hasn't gone this round, so what's your second pick?
I'll go with Cuba and the Two Strings. I think it looks pretty great, and Locke has been pretty consistent, so I'll think it's going to be a good film.
You've picked my fourth and fifth picks, so I was definitely considering Jason Bourne and Cuba on the Two Strings. Amanda, 3 for 3 with my picks. What do you got?
Probably not, but I'm going to go with The Purge election year.
All right. The Purge getting good reviews. 75% or higher on the election year. I had something else.
I love how
I'm processing as I speak.
Like, I want to tell her it's a bad idea.
Shut up, the marketing for this has been awesome. I think everybody is all on board about, I want to purge.
They should just somehow take whatever the person playing the president out and just like insert cameos of Trump and Hillary, and then people will go crazy about it.
People are already doing that in memes like crazy.
All right, so I will have my first pick that's not also on Amanda's list, and I will say The Neon Demon. I don't really know much about this film, and it's not a lot that's been revealed really too much, even from the early looks that we have, but I can see it getting at least above 75%. So I'll go with The Neon Demon. Dan, what do you got?
I will, you know what? I'll be brave, and I'll say Ghostbusters. You know, I'll put it out there.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I didn't want to jinx it, so I left it off all lists.
I mean, I think maybe low expectations will help it, and director Paul Feige, his films seem to do pretty well with the critics. I mean, Spy was like 90% last year, so I think Dan
Aykroyd and Bill Murray both said it was incredible.
Well, despite the fact Dan Aykroyd liked it, it might still be good.
I was gonna say, wasn't there like a rumor about someone saying they liked it, but then they actually hadn't seen it between one of those two?
Oh, I'm sure.
That probably sounds like something Bill Murray would do, just because he thought he saw it, but then realized he didn't.
He's a crazy dude.
I like it. Matt, what's your final pick?
Oh, man. I'm going to go with Captain Fantastic because it also looks heartwarming.
All right. Captain Fantastic. I like the trailer for that one as well. So, all right, those are all of our fresh picks, our rotten picks. We already did our box office predictions, so that's our look ahead. Let's make sure we didn't leave anything, any stone unturned, just to kind of go over any of the films that have not been mentioned. Obviously, the other ones that have already opened are Me Before You and Popstar Never Stop, Never Stopping. And then this weekend with Warcraft, we have Now You See Me 2 and Amanda Conjuring 2, which you've already seen. And then you mentioned Central Intelligence and Finding Dory. Swiss Army Man, nobody mentioned, but that comes out in June as well. I'm
actually looking forward to seeing that. I think it looks weird as shit, and I have no freaking clue how it's going to go, but I want to see it just because it's something different.
Also in June, The Shallows, which, is that something you're about or not?
I'm not about that life. Not about the shark life.
All right. We've already talked most of the early July releases. Also some small July limited releases, July 15th, Cafe Society and Tulip Fever, as well as Lights Out. And I think the only ones we didn't speak of from August would have been Spectral, and we didn't really talk about Max Steel or Don't Breathe, I guess, but I don't think there's a need to. So I think we did a good job covering most of the films that are coming out over the next 3 months. What's your anticipation level, Dan? We talked about how May was for us. How do you think the summer is going to be of 2016?
I don't know. There's the rest of the summer. There's nothing I'm super looking forward to besides Jason Bourne. It's probably the film I'm looking forward to the most. But I'm actually kind of really interested in some of the smaller films like Neon Demon and Swiss Army Man. And the other ones I'm just a little bit more iffy on, just like Ghostbusters. I'm hoping it's good. I don't know. But I don't know. I don't think we'll get anything to the level of Civil War or but we'll see. We'll see.
For me, I'm somewhat like what you were saying. I'm actually very much looking forward to some of those smaller films, some of those not big budget, more limited release types films. even though Free State of Jones isn't limited, but even, like we said, Cafe Society, Tulip Fever, Captain Fantastic, Swiss Army Man, they all look somewhat intriguing to me. And I am hopeful that Star Trek Beyond and Independence Day Resurgence and Ghostbusters are good. But, man, when you look at it, there's a lot of movies that could completely flop, starting with the ones that's already out. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Warcraft could be terrible. You look at the BFG and the Legend of Tarzan, hard to say what those are going to be like. You have Nine Lives, obviously is going to be terrible. Pete's Dragon, I don't know how that's going to go. Ben-Hur, probably not good. So, I mean, there's a bunch of them that might not be very good. Suicide Squad is probably the biggest budget film that I'm somewhat confident in. Hopefully DC doesn't find a way to ruin that one. Amanda, what's your take on the next 3 months? Is it something you're looking forward to, or you're just waiting for the winter?
No, I'm actually pretty excited. I think Suicide Squad is my, probably number 1 or 2 most anticipated of this year, and it's coming up pretty soon here. Not soon enough, but it's jumping up on us finally. I'm excited for, like I said, the Swiss Army Man, but also I'm actually looking forward to Legend of Tarzan and Ghostbusters. Some of the animated ones, I'm not. What?
Independence Day, you've been looking forward to.
Of course, yeah, super excited for Independence Day. I'm not really excited for Finding Dory, but I think Kubo and the Two Strings looks pretty good. I'll probably see Sausage Fest at some point, but I'm not.
Sausage Party.
Or Sausage Party. I didn't see Sausage Fest. I'm not ready for that. But, yeah, I think it's going to be pretty decent as far as my taste goes.
Matt, which ones of these films are coming out the next 3 months are good enough to get you to spend your money on them?
Oh, man. I wish I saw more movies in theaters, because I kind of miss what I had going in 2014. I don't know if I'm going to see much of any of these. I'm going to make a push for Ghostbusters. Amy's going to definitely want to see Finding Dory, because Finding Nemo's in her top 5. And I want to see Suicide Squad just because I want to see what happens.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. I'm not super excited. I want to see the BFG because that was one of my favorite books growing up, but I don't know if that's going to happen. I want to see Warcraft just to see how terrible it is because it does not look good. And again, another thing from my childhood where I loved it, and it's I should see the movie.
Yeah. Oh, the other small one that I forgot to mention in that group was The Founder. I'm interested in seeing that one, too. I think that one could be good. So,
you should sneak some McDonald's into the theater while you watch it.
Dun-dun-dun. All right, we're going to take a real fast break, and then when we come back with a few quick news stories, and then we'll close this episode out.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
On the Simplistic Reviews podcast, we talk movies. We talk TV. We talk.
Hello, Julie, what the heck are you doing?
Trying to make our spots sound more exciting by adding explosions.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you could have got the point across with sound effects, not the real thing. Car.
Download the show on iTunes or at simplisticreviews.blogspot.com.
I'm sure your insurance company will cover that.
No, they won't.
No, they probably won't.
A female He-Man! Oh, this is the worst day of my life!
We've told the tales of Eternia, and now we head to a different dimension to explore the myths of Etheria. Join Optimus Solo and TFJ and Mike as they continue their Mo2 journey by exploring She-Ra, Princess of Power. 35 podcast episodes covering the entire run of She-Ra, the Christmas special, and more. You can find Myths of Etheria on iTunes and www.geekcastradio.com. For the honor of Grayskull, we all have the power.
Now back to the show. Do you see how your patience paid off?
Thanks for sticking with us. We just have a few news stories that we want to get out there, as people sometimes do look to us for some movie news. Only the crazy people, but they do. I'm calling our fans crazy now. Going downhill fast. First up, Suicide Squad. I want to get your guys' reaction. PG-13 rating. Dan, is that a good or bad sign?
It's a sign that's a movie. It seems... It's what I expected, I guess. I don't know. It's mostly, it feels like everything's PG-13. That's a major studio release, so yeah.
Yeah, I know there was a push though early on when Deadpool came out that all of a sudden we thought we were going to see some other films try to up the ante and try to join that crowd, I guess, since there was a market for the R rating. I think other people just wanted to see more, I guess, R-rated type stuff. Is this go ahead.
I don't think Suicide Squad needs to be R for it to work. I think Deadpool makes a little bit more sense because of that character, right. And like his constant, the language he uses and the violence in it was more comedic in that end. With this one, I don't really want a comic book movie that is like super gory, that's serious, I guess. Yeah. So I'm fine with it being PG-13.
Matt, would you have rather seen an R rating or a PG-13 rating for Suicide Squad?
I think a PG-13 rating is a good idea because it's more likely to actually make money that way.
Right.
Because you have to be good to make money as an R, especially if you're spending, upwards of $200 million on your movie. So it's a smart choice by the execs to keep it down. And then they could just do what they're going to do with Batman vs. Superman and release an R-rated DVD that nobody wants.
We should need a drinking game every time some bad thing happens.
Every time Matt says something about Batman vs. Superman from here on out, people listening have to drink.
I want the people that listen to know that the only reason I'm so upset is because I'm way more invested in DC than Marvel, and I always have been. And so every time they release a bad movie in the universe that I love so much, it really upsets me.
Makes sense. Amanda, are you okay with the PG-13 rating for Suicide Squad?
No, I'm upset about everything that they keep doing to my movie. I just fucking quit it. Just give me R rating and let the mouths fly and the bullets along with it and the explosions. And there's going to be a strip club scene, so just give it a fucking R rating and let's get it over with. I want some gratuitous violence and some language. Amanda's
starting to keep track of every R-rated movie we see because there's a strip club scene in almost 90% of them.
Not Hateful Eight. Not only did it not have a strip club scene, it had dong and not boobs.
Which sometimes does happen, yeah. Especially in Tarantino.
That's what strip clubs were like back in that day, right?
Where some nudity is going to pop out.
All right. Moving on to a couple of films that maybe nobody cares about, but we'll talk about the casting anyways. A lot of people are not anticipating a Pacific Rim 2, but news this week that John Boyega has been cast as Idris Elba's son in Pacific Rim 2. I'll just go ahead and mention the other one, and you can comment on either one if you care about them. Transformers: The Last Night. Anthony Hopkins joining the cast of Transformers: The Last Night.
Is that voice cast or?
I don't know. He's just going to be in there somewhere. So Anthony Hopkins or John Boyega, does that matter at all to either of those films, and or do you not care about them, Dan?
I'm just excited that they're making Pacific Rim 2 because I know it's been debated if that's actually going to happen, and John Boyega being in it, it's cool too. So I like it. Actually, I'm actually quite excited for that. I think that's a good sign.
I think I care way more about that one than Transformers, whatever they're doing with that next. They're also apparently resurrecting Megatron for those people that are into Transformers. He's coming back even though he's killed off in the previous movie.
The first one.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Transformers, I would only be happy if they were going to tell me that it's all in space and that there's not a single human being in the film. Then maybe I would get excited about it. But Matt, any thoughts about Pacific Rim 2 or Transformers: The Last Night?
I like John Boyega in Star Wars, and I hope this is the last Transformers. With a name like that, we can only hope.
Also news, I guess, and I'm more interested, I guess, to get Matt and Dan, your guys' opinion, because I don't know much about this, but apparently the next DC animated movie direct-to-video will be Justice League Dark, which was the film that we had previously talked about in one of our news stories that Gizmo del Toro was supposed to be somewhat kind of heading the project. I don't think he's involved anymore, but it is going to be the next DC animated film. So Justice League Dark, are you excited for that, Matt?
I have not seen any of the animated movies, or very few of them. That said, those are a cast of characters that are interesting, and so I hope it does well and people like it.
Yeah, and for those that don't know, we're talking about John Constantine the Enchantress, Deadman, Zatanna, Madame Xanadu, and Shade the Changing Man, according to the article. So, Dan, any excitement for this being the next DC animated film?
Yeah, actually, I really like that idea, and I think it could be quite good, and I'm glad to see them doing a DC animated film that's not like another generic New 52 story, and not that I dislike Batman movies, but it's like getting characters that they don't necessarily focus on a lot or haven't previously. So that's quite cool.
All right. And then the other casting piece that we wanted to get out there is Sacha Baron Cohen cast as Mandrake the Magician in whatever comic adaptation that is. I can't keep them all straight. But are either of you guys familiar, any of you guys familiar with Mandrake the Magician, and does Sacha Baron Cohen fit that role?
I got nothing. I have no idea. So I'm going to go with yes, he does.
Dan or Matt, do you know who Mandrake the Magician is?
I don't.
Sounds like somebody I should know, but I don't.
But I feel like Sacha Baron Cohen is hilarious. So
yeah,
if it's a funny movie, it'll probably do well.
Some type of superhero movie, Mandrake the Magician. So apparently they're just trying to find every superhero type of character they could possibly come up with and make a film about them. So the last piece of news is about Star Wars The Force Awakens. Just wanted to mention that, guys, officially, Star Wars The Force Awakens has left the theaters in the U.S. So I don't know how many days that was, but it is officially out, and that means its total domestic gross for its run was $936 million. So it didn't quite creep up high enough to get to the billion mark, but it is almost 180 million over Avatar. So 936 million is not too shabby. Just wanted to throw that out there as far as the final numbers for Star Wars The Force Awakens. Anything else that you guys wanted to touch on that you didn't get a chance to react to, Amanda? Are you sad that Star Wars didn't get to $1 billion?
A little.
It'll get re-released in IMAX 3D for, it'll get there.
And a special edition and 10th anniversary edition and some other things. So, coming out on Blu-ray this next Tuesday for those that are trying to decide what they're going to spend their money on, we have Airport, the complete collection. We have London Has Fallen, The Young Messiah, Get a Job, The Brave One, a couple Jaws things, Jaws 3 and Jaws the Revenge, Blu-ray releases. Here Comes Mr. Jordan, the Criterion Collection, the Director's Edition of Star Trek II, Wrath of Khan, Despicable Me 3, Movie Collection, Conan the Complete Quest, which includes Conan the Barbarian and Conan the Destroyer, and then a couple other 2016 films, 10 Cloverfield Lane and Eddie the Eagle, as well as the X-Files The Event series. Dan, if you have to spend your money on one of those things, what would you be adding to your collection?
Probably 10 Cloverfield Lane. Probably the best movie out of all of those. Maybe Here Comes Mr. Jordan, just because it's Criterion, but I've actually never even heard of it, so okay.
Just on reputation alone from Criterion. Matt, what about you?
The Conan the Complete Quest, that's a re-release, right? Because I'm pretty sure I have Conan the Complete Quest with both of those movies.
Is it a Blu-ray?
Oh, Blu-ray. Yeah.
Maybe? I don't know. Maybe
that's the difference. I have the DVD, and it's probably, the first time on Blu-ray. I would definitely suggest those. Those movies are great.
Excellent. Amanda, what are you spending your money on?
Probably Cloverfield Lane.
We'll go with Matt and Amanda and pick 10 Cloverfield Lane as well. I think that's the best movie on the list as far as the 2016 releases. So, all right. Thanks, as always, for tuning in to the Cinema Geeks this week. You can contact us in a bunch of different ways. Obviously, visit the website, geekcastradio.com, where you can click on the episode post and add a comment, and we will try to react and interact with you there. You can visit the Facebook page by searching GeekCast Radio Network and keep up to date with all things Cinema Geek related, as well as all of the other shows that the GeekCast Radio Network puts out. You can follow us all and interact with us on Twitter. The network is at GeekCast Radio. The show is at Cinema Geekcast. My Twitter handle is at Optimus Solo. Amanda, yours is?
Hard Candy Mandy, Eyes No Lies.
Dan?
At Movie Revolt.
Matt?
I am at Fridley Scent.
And Dan, what's coming up next for Talking in Circles fans?
We will be discussing News of the Weird, just random news stories from across the world. And
nice.
So, keeping it weird.
Awesome. And also, obviously, next week we'll have episode 99, which we will be getting back into the Miyazaki spotlight and talking about Nausicaa Valley of the Wind. Did I say that right?
I think you did. Well
Sweet.
done.
Excellent. And then after that, of course, will be episode 100. But for now, that is it for us. And be sure to check in next week for another chance to listen to the Cinema Geeks. All right. Amanda, you good?
You know, you think over that time I'd read my line, but I didn't. Yeah. All right, I'm good to go.
Today on episode 98 of the Cinema Geeks,
we take a look back at our May predictions.
And we look ahead to see what's in store for the rest of the summer.
And...
Sorry, I really screwed you up there.
Oh, I'm not an actor. All that and more coming up on episode 98 with the Cinema Geeks.
We've learned not to improv around Matt, apparently.
Dude,
not go off script.
I don't know, man. If there's no script, I could improvise all day. It's just
Dan literally said everything, just flip the order around.
And it wasn't any less natural for him to say, but for whatever reason, I was like, that isn't what it says.